All right, hope everyone's doing good. So today we are going to talk about nutrition for optimal health and longevity, secrets of longest living, healthiest people in the world. They are not really secrets. You will start to see when we look at things, the things they do more like common sense. But secrets of longest living people sounded nice as a title, so here we go. Right, so this video could be the episode 1 of a podcast series or a video series. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But this video or this series is not going to be short TikTok kind of video. So if that's your thing, this is not for you. Well, I don't hate TikTok generation, but that's not my thing. I think some of the health and nutrition concepts need to be discussed in detail. I know there are like good, a lot of people are busy, and I know there are some good short videos. People pack a lot of details into a short amount of time. They are fantastic, but well, that's not my style. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Cool. So what we are going to discuss, we're going to look at what optimal health is first, because I've been doing coaching for 11 years now, and when I talk to clients and people when they first start with me, improving health is a common thing. People have different goals: lose weight, building muscles, even competing. Regardless what those goals are, everybody wants to improve their health. But when you ask everyone what they mean by improving health, you will get different answers. Okay, so we will look into that first, and we'll discuss what we will look into what healthiest people in the world might do, what they eat, what their lifestyle looks like. Because we'll be able to get an idea what we can replicate from them or what we should be doing as well. Yeah, then we'll look at does it all comes to nutrition? Do they do other things that may help to stay may help to live longer, disease free? There are some nothing is perfect. We'll see some at the end. We'll see the limitations and caveats as well. Okay, cool. So let's start with what is optimal health. Like I said, there are depending on who you talk to, you will get different answers or different definitions. According to WHO, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Okay, simpler definition of that: health is not just about not being sick. It means feeling good physically, mentally, and socially. I think that's a really good definition. It covers everything holistically. I like the definition. Cool. So is there an optimal diet for health? The best way to answer this question is to examine what the longest living populations without chronic diseases have in common. Okay, to do that, we will look at blue zones. If you don't know what blue zones are, if you haven't heard that before, blue zones are the regions of the world where people live significantly longer and healthier lives compared to global averages. These areas have high concentration of centenarians, or people who live up to 100 or more, and low rates of chronic diseases like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Okay, cool. There are 5 blue zones. We will go one by one and see what they eat, what they do, and see if we can take something out of it and replicate it. Cool. The first one is Okinawa, Japan. The diet, primarily plant-based. The diet includes sweet potatoes, tofu, seaweed, soy products, and green tea, moderate amounts of lean meat, fish, dairy, and refined sugars. Okay, rich in flavonoids and antioxidants. So they do have some sugars. They also eat animal protein, but primarily most of it is plant-based. Okay, cool. Physical activity. Gardening, walking, and traditional martial arts are common. Movement is naturally integrated into daily life. Longevity factors. Social connections through moai. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. It's a small social group offering support. Purpose in life, ikigai. So this is not relevant to this conversation. However, ikigai is a fantastic thing. There's a book called Ikigai, actually, if you want to read it. When a lot of young people reach out to me and ask, like, how do you figure out what you want to do with life, like what careers, all that stuff, I tell them to just go read an ikigai, because it's a really good way of, like, really good and practical way of figuring out what your purpose in life, what you want to do with life. So even if you're not young, it's a really good book in general to read. I highly recommend ikigai. Okay. Calorie restriction. The hara hachibu. I'm probably butchering these Japanese words, but practice of eating 80% full. So that's the thing you will see with all these groups. They have a way of not overeating. None of them track calories. None of them use MyFitnessPal, but they have a practical way of controlling calories. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next group, Sardinia, Italy. Diet, Mediterranean diet. They're rich in whole grains, legumes, olive oil, and goat milk. Meat is consumed sparingly, mainly as lean sources like fish and poultry. Moderate red wine intake with meals. Okay, that's interesting. They do consume alcohol, but they live longer and very low in chronic diseases. Okay, this is consistent with what we see in modern research as well. You can consume little amount of alcohol and that will not negatively affect your health. Yeah, alcohol in small amounts are okay. Physical activity. Herding livestock involves walking long distance over hilly terrain. Daily movements is an inherent part of life. Okay, so far I think with these two groups, we looked at what are the common traits. They eat relatively less processed food, a lot of plant-based food in there, some lean animal protein, and physical activity, pretty common, and they keep stress low. So with Sardinia, Italy, low stress levels due to traditional lifestyle, strong social bonds. So the social bonds are also a very common thing in these blue zones. Okay, the third one, Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica. Diet, corn, beans, squash, plantains, and tropical fruits, rice and beans, and dairy consumption in moderate. Physical activity, active lifestyle with farming and daily walking are common. Many older individuals remain physically active well past 90. That's amazing, right? So peaceful people, a lot of people we see, like when they get to 70, 80, they can't even move. These people, they stay active and work well past 90. Incredible. Longevity factors. Water, naturally high in calcium and magnesium, supports bone health. Family first culture offers emotional and social security. So there you go, right? So again, we see that the family ties, close-knit community, emotional support, that's a huge part of this. It's not just the nutrition, everything else, that the social bonds, the physical activity, they play a huge role as well. A strong sense of purpose, plan de vida. Again, I'm not sure how to pronounce this properly. This is similar to ikigai. So there you go. Like you see common patterns. You will see more similarities in these groups than differences. Okay, let's go to the fourth group. Ikaria, Greece. Diet. Similar to the Mediterranean diet, with high olive oil, legumes, whole grains, potatoes, and herbal teas. Herbal infusions with anti-inflammatory properties are common. Physical activity, frequent walking, farming, and gardening ensures daily movement. Longevity factors, frequent naps and good sleeps reduce stress. Fantastic. Minimal processed food and sugar consumption. High level of social interaction. There you go. We see the similar things again, right? Loma Linda, California. This group is a bit different to the other four groups we looked at. This group is highly religious group of people. They are vegetarian. So out of the 5 blue zones, these are the only like complete vegetarians. They're vegetarian, emphasizing whole foods, nuts, legumes. Many follows a diet low in sugar and processed food. Physical activity, regular moderate exercise such as walking and gardening. Longevity factors, they don't drink alcohol or tobacco. Faith and spirituality, they are really like a very religious group of people. Close-knit communities. Okay, so the common traits across all blue zones, predominantly plant-based diet. So they eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and some lean animal protein. Daily natural movement. So this is huge. You see that across all 5 blue zones. I know everybody tracks steps now. I started getting my clients to track steps in 2014. So back then we knew this is going to be like a huge thing, not just for general well-being. That's a big factor in fat loss as well. Also, there's a strong correlation between your movement, that's why we track with steps, and your mortality. Okay. Strong community and family ties, emotional support and emotional well-being. Purpose-driven life, they all group regardless. So if you look at Okinawans, they have Ikigai, and it's the Costa Rica, they have something similar to make sure that you have purpose in life. And Loma Linda, they are highly spiritual and a religious group. I'm not a religious person, but I think religions play a strong role giving people a purpose and sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Sense of security. I think that's important in life. Cool. Low stress levels. Most of them live a relatively simpler life. They take naps, drink some alcohol, hang out with friends. That social health is super important for humans. That's why, I mean, even with my coaching program, I do not cut out that social gatherings. I don't recommend my clients to avoid parties or like meeting friends when they are in the program. Like, rather we will do it better, right? Because that's an important part of life. Minimally processed food and refined sugars. Alcohol consumption is in moderation. Genetic resilience. Genetics is always going to be a part of this small group. So they pass down genetics. That's always going to be a factor. All right. So regardless of you will see that these are different parts of the world, right? So the availability of the food is going to be different. Regardless of that, we can get common idea or common yeah, we can get the common traits of what they do. They prioritize whole nutrient dense food, lots of vegetables and fruits, lean proteins, plant-based or animal, lean protein, healthy fats, avocado, oil, nuts, seeds, whole grains, hydration, mostly water, limited sugary drinks, and alcohol. They use minimally processed food and very little amount of refined sugars. All right, can we put all this down to nutrition? Probably not. There are other variables like physical activities. It's a huge one, close-knit community and family, sun exposure, because you see a lot of people are outside doing work, gardening, normal day-to-day activities, but outside they get some sun. Low stress levels, religion and sense of purpose, and low pollution. Cool. So before I go into the take-home points, I want to address this part very quickly, because when we talk about this, something that generally comes up, you will see, you may or may not see in discussions, debates. When we look at blue zones data and research, there are some problems with it. Okay. Yeah, nothing is perfect, but there are things we can take from it, but there are problems as well. Now, the first issue is selection bias and verification issues. Some longevity claims that some of them don't have proper birth certificates. If you don't have a birth certificate, it's very hard to figure out how old you are, especially when you get to, like, old age. If you don't even remember when you were born, so that's a problem. Record keeping. Yeah, so the other issue is this has been tried to replicate before. The Blue Zone project, I think it was 2018. Yeah, don't remember the year. So it has mixed results. They were not able to replicate exactly. So there are a lot of variables. It's just not nutrition. The environment, everything has to fit together, I guess, to replicate that exact same results. And obviously you can't replicate the genetics if that's a huge factor. Having said and the misreporting, there were cases that some people died years ago and their children, relatives, never reported. They never reported that, so they can keep collecting social benefits, money, pensions, those kind of things. Well, that's pretty common. People lie for money, so it is what it is, right? So there are some caveats to it. Regardless of that, you see these people live a long, healthy life with less chronic diseases, and you see a lot of common traits of what they eat, what they do, so we can get an idea. If we want to do the same, if we want to be healthy and live longer, it doesn't hurt to implement some of what they do. Cool. Take home points. There's more than one way to be healthy. You see, one group was completely vegetarian and the other groups ate some lean meat. Some of the diets are relatively higher in fats. Some of the diets are really high in carbohydrates. Okay. You don't have to do intermittent fasting to increase autophagy. Calorie control eating naturally promotes these benefits. I put it there because I wasn't planning on talking about intermittent fasting. It feels like I'm just singling that out. Now, there are health benefits to intermittent fasting, but a lot of those benefits comes from calorie restriction, which naturally happens with blue zones type of diets anyway. But we see some research. There could be some additional benefits. I'm not ruling that out. A lot of people think that's the only way of being healthy, but it's not. So that's why I put it there. But I don't have anything against intermittent fasting. Okay, let's just leave it out there. Okay, cool. If you want to, okay, this is the last point I'm going to make. If you want to be vegetarian for ethical, religious, or health reasons, do that. Not a problem. If reducing carbohydrates help you maintain more practical calorie control diet, do that. Not a problem. If you prefer intermittent fasting, if that helps you to reduce your calorie intake and simplify the way you eat, do that. Not a problem. My point is there are more than one way to do things, but when you look at generally what's healthy, there are more common traits than differences. Okay, just understand that. Cool. I'm not sure where this video is going to go. This could be an audio podcast plus a video podcast, or it just could be a YouTube video. Wherever it goes, I'll put these references as well, and I will, hopefully this will continue. I know I have not been consistent with content. I'm pretty much consistent with everything else in my life except the content. It's just finding the time, but I'll try to do better. Hopefully I'll see you guys in another episode soon.